The situation in Ukraine and the support by North Korea in Russia's military campaign has prompted senior defense officials to rethink the region's requirements and capabilities. They're gathered in Prague for a 3-day summit hosted by the International Institute for Strategic Studies to discuss building up Europe's defense capacity. Trent Murray files this report.
Well, it has been a busy day of discussions here in the Czech capital as senior defence officials from across NATO discuss just how prepared Europe is in terms of its military capabilities. We heard from one of NATO's most senior military commanders who called for politicians to focus less on talk and more on action.
Russia has to reconstitute from the Ukraine war and regain strength. And, as we just heard, has started that process already. So it's just a matter of time, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And on the other side, the timeline is competing between military and political decision-making. Both want to reduce the risk, but the politicians will decide as late as possible in order to exploit means that prevent war. And I will tell you, sir, if you don't activate now, you will be too late in your defense positions.
We also heard from Lithuania's defense minister. As a Baltic neighbor of Russia, he said it was essential for Europe to do more of the heavy lifting on defense and rely less on Washington.
It's clear, but the United States is going more to Indo-Pacific. The United States is saying, despite its Democrats or Republicans, it's not about that. Europe should be more responsible for its security. So Europe needs to invest more into defense.
We heard as well from the US Assistant Secretary for the Army, a Biden-appointed official. He was asked whether he could assure Europe that the new Trump administration would continue to extend the US's nuclear umbrella to Europe. Here was his response.
The new administration will come in, they will make their assessment, they will staff their team. They will make that judgment and advise the president on any of those issues. I just will observe that over Republican and Democratic administrations over really even since the end of the Cold War, that commitment to maintain a nuclear deterrence hasn't wavered. That said, I don't speak for the new administration, and when they come in, I encourage leaders across Europe and the world to engage in that conversation. It's a very important one, but that will be for the new president and his team to decide.
But despite that, new comments by Vice President-elect J.D. Vance has raised some eyebrows here. In a media interview in the US, he spoke about the EU's threat to regulate Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter. Citing those policy disagreements, he said it could lead the US to question its commitment to NATO, saying Europe needs to understand that American power comes with strings attached. Trent Murray, CNA, Prague.